What is up, guys? We are back again. We are doing my favorite 14 hip-hop releases of 2014. We're almost at the halfway point. Actually, I think this is the halfway point. We are almost to the downward slope. Just like the last video, these videos are getting a little bit longer, so we're going to start moving through the albums pretty quickly. So starting at number 14. Cadillactica by Big K.R.I.T. Big K.R.I.T is a southern hip-hop artist. I believe he's from Georgia. Talked a little bit about him in my 2012 video with his Live from the Underground, which got a pretty high spot. I don't like this quite as much. It doesn't have as many of the memorable tracks that it had, but it's still a fantastic album. Big K.R.I.T starts doing a lot of production on this album, which is a thing that continues on as throughout the rest of his career. I'm kind of disappointed. He released a single called Mount Olympus before this album, and it's one of those songs where he comes out and says, "Oh, so now you want me to really rap?" And he goes in on this track. It's a fantastic song. I was really hoping it would be on Cadillactica. It is not, but even though it is not, this is still a fantastic sophomore release. Go check it out. Number 13, we have got Slaine, the king of everything else. Slaine is a rapper out of Boston. He is a part of La Coca Nostra. Does a lot of stuff with Vinny Paz, Ill Bill, all those guys. Cool thing about Slaine is if you've ever watched really any of Ben Affleck's movies, Ben Affleck grew up with this guy, so Slaine acts in a lot of his movies. If you have ever seen The Town, he is one of the villains along with Ben Affleck, one of the robbers. He's a fantastic actor, and his mic skills are pretty unbelievable. He's a fantastic MC, very underground, very good. The song Bobby Be Real is one of the greatest tracks I've heard in a long time. It's got this really, really nice, almost polka vibe to it, and it kind of keeps you grooving the whole time. It makes you want to dance, but he's actually spitting really, really intricate bars, and it's pretty phenomenal. Mad Child and Tech Nine make a couple features on it. Not a big fan of either one of them, but they hold their own with Slaine on a track. Fantastic. Slaine, king of everything else, at number 13. Number 12, we have got the Underachievers with their debut self-titled album, Cellar Door, Terminus ut Exordium. Underachievers are a hip-hop duo based out of New York City. I believe they're from Flatbush, but it might be Brooklyn. I think it's Flatbush, though. I don't know a whole lot about these guys. They're members of the Beast Coast, along with like Joey Badass and everybody else from Pro Era, Flatbush Zombies. They released a duo mixtape with Flatbush Zombies, which is pretty sweet. This is a fantastic record. Very, very underground, and I mean, as you can tell by this album cover, they are very into the Indigo Children, the philosophy behind it. Fantastic album. I really did enjoy it. Some of the beats get a little mundane every now and then, and it's hard to tell the two rappers apart, and I can't think off the top of my head what their names are, unfortunately. But it's still great. It's still a good album. Check it out. That is the Underachievers with Cellar Door. Number 11, we move on to some other southern hip-hop duo. This is EarthGang with Shallow Grave for Toys. EarthGang is from Atlanta. They are a member of Slum Village with Black and Jid. I don't know how I forgot that. They just recently signed on with what is J. Cole's record label? Dreamville. I'm not even thinking tonight. They just recently signed with Dreamville, released a really good EP a couple years back called Rags. These albums, this and then the one that came out the next year, I believe, which is Strays with Rabies. These are fantastic albums. They've got a little bit of everything for everybody. Both of these dudes can rap, and actually both of them can sing, surprisingly. Some of the joints are kind of jazzy. Some have a trap feel. Some are just your basic boom bap. I mean, They're kind of all over the place. They can rap on whatever they want to rap on. Fantastic album. Fantastic artwork. Really impressed. Not enough people are talking about EarthGang. Go check them out. You will love it. So that's EarthGang-Shallow Grave for Toys at number 11. Top 10. Number 10. We go to Step Brothers with Lord Steppington. Step Brothers is a hip-hop duo consisting of Alchemist and Evidence. Alchemist I talked about a lot with Gangrene. Evidence is a lesser-known hip-hop artist. Does a lot of stuff with like Dilated Peoples. Kind of one of those dudes in the underground. Both of these guys, Evidence is signed to Rhymesayers, and that's also where this was released with. The release is kind of cool. It's got a velvety feel to it. Some fan-fucking-tastic features on here. You got Action Bronson on Mums in the Garage. Damo Genesis has this fantastic feature on Byron G. Definitely worth a listen. Go check it out. Step Brothers, Lord Steppington. Number 9 goes to NehruvianDoom with their self-titled mini-album, EP, whatever you want to call it. NehruvianDoom consists of the master himself, MF Doom, along with lesser-known New York hip-hop artist Bishop Nehru. This is a pretty quick one. I believe it runs right about 30 minutes with some really good tracks. It gets a lot of hate, and I think part of it is they're trying to compare this with MF Doom's old stuff, which is almost impossible to do because MF Doom does not make tracks like this anymore, and it's pretty sad. But I mean, he's got the song "Ohm" on here is really good. Darkness, HBU, How About You with Bishop is really good. It is really good. It is a very good mini album. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. If you're a Doom fan, this is one of those things where, I mean, I'm a Doom fan, so I collect everything no matter how much I like it, no matter how much I dislike it. It kind of falls in that same category. Number 8, another Rhymesayers release. This is Grieves-Winter the Wolves. Talked a lot about Grieves already. He had my favorite album of 2011, I think. And I actually really enjoy this album too. Kind of the same themes. Talks a lot about loss, a lot about heartache. He does a lot more singing on this track, which is pretty cool. But on this album, which is pretty cool. But it's pretty impressive. I really do enjoy it. Check him. Not enough people talk about Grieves. He's one of those people where you either love everything he does or you hate how emotional he is. I'm one of those people that I love the fact that he's honest on tracks. A lot of people don't. He doesn't get enough play. Check him out, Grieves. This is Winter the Wolves. Number 7, Run the Jewels back with their second full-length, Run the Jewels 2. I actually don't like this as much as the first one, and I think a lot of people liked this better. It's still fantastic. It's still Killer Mike and LP, and you know they don't release bad music, but there's just certain things about this. They don't have a track on here like Sea Legs off of the first one, where it's just one of those albums you can sit down, or one of those tracks where you can sit down and listen and you always come up with something new. Close Your Eyes and Count to Fuck with Zach De La Roca. I don't. That's pretty close. That's my favorite on here. But it still does not touch Sea Legs, my favorite Run the Jewels track so far. This is a very good hip-hop release by a couple very good artists where they have no reason to be together. It's not necessary. They both have fantastic solo careers, but they're doing this, and it seems like fans are really taken to it, so good for them. Number 6. This is PrHyme with their debut album. PrHyme is a hip-hop duo consisting of Royce da 5'9" and DJ Premier. This was one of those albums that I did not expect to be released, and I didn't know it was released. I was just at my local record store when I had one, and it was sitting there, and I was like, I like Royce, I like DJ Premier, let's check it out. So fucking happy I did. Probably my favorite feature of the year, or of the decade, is on here with Absol on That Sound Good. Fantastic verse. Mac Miller comes through with another just phenomenal verse feature on that track too. The song Courtesy, which is, I believe, the first single on here, is very good too. Royce da 5'9" is one of those dudes that can rap on any beats, and it just so happens that DJ Premier makes some of the best beats in the game right now. So it was a kind of a match made in heaven, and I think they did a very good job with it. So that's PrHyme with their debut self-titled record. We move into the top 5 with an artist that it almost needs a prelude. I've been listening to this dude since his second mixtape. I've always loved him. When I heard he got signed to Island Def Jam, I was so fucking stoked. He released this album, impressed the fuck out of me, but here's the thing, you're never going to see his name pop up again, most likely. Everything after this has slowly gone downhill. I'm not a fan of anything else he's done. The only other time you'll probably hear me mention his name is when it comes down to worst track or worst album of the year. It's just garbage. However, his debut is still one of my favorites. That is Logic with Under Pressure. I love this album. He's sticking to his boom bap roots. He's doing what he does best and sticking to it, and I'm really impressed by it, especially considering that he came out with the Young Sinatra Welcome to Forever mixtape, which is one of my favorite of the Young Sinatra series. He came through. There's some fantastic songs. Soul Food, I'm Gone, Gang Related. Nikki, which everybody has a lot of flack on Nikki. To me, it's a very cool song because the whole time you're like, all right, he's talking about a girl. The way he describes her, I like taking off your top and taking you in my breath or some shit like that. You think he's talking about a chick. At the very end, you're like, holy fuck, he's talking about nicotine, which is not as serious of a matter as something that Macklemore would rap about. But me being a smoker and hating the fact that I started smoking, the song has a lot of really, really cool hints at the nicotine addiction. So it's pretty sweet. Very good album. Unfortunately, probably the last good album he'll do. This is Under Pressure by Logic. Number 4, another underground dude that nobody fucking talks about, and they need to. This is Pharoahe Monch with PTSD. I don't remember exactly where he's from, but he is one hell of a fucking rapper. This dude reminds me a lot of R.A. the Rugged Man as far as his wordplay, along with as far as his flow goes. He seems almost like I call him hip-hop perfectionists, those dudes that think that trap music is bullshit because it doesn't stick to the true meaning of hip-hop. And that's kind of what R.A. reminds me of. That's kind of what Pharoahe Monch reminds me of. He's got this really fucking good track on here called Damage, where it's actually from the point of view of a gun, which is pretty crazy. It's very similar to, I believe, Nas did it too, but he did it from the point of view of a bullet. Very good. Losing My Mind, Heroin Addict, Time Squared, Broken Again. A lot of fantastic tracks. Check this out. Pharoahe Monch, I'll put it up so you can spell his name right, with PTSD at number 4. Number 3, we go back to my favorite rapper. I talked about him a little in 2010. He had my favorite hip-hop album. He's back at number 3, Diabolic with Fightin Words. Fantastic fucking album. I can't talk enough about this guy. Diabolic makes albums for people who understand what pure hip-hop is all about. And I love him for it. He does some fantastic work. This whole album is good. There's not a bad song on here. He's got this group cut called Norman Bates, where he's got Taboo, Locksmith, Nino Bliss, Apathy, and Cole. Each dude spits a better bar than the last one. So good. Vinny, I believe, is featured on here. Sean Price, R.A. the Rugged Man, self-titled. A lot of good features. Check this out. It's his first album that he released on his own record label, Warhorse Records. And he does a fucking great job. Fightin Words by Diabolic at number 3. Number 2 should not be a surprise. If you watched any of my other videos, I talked about how much I fucking like this dude. And this is one of my favorite hip-hop releases favorite hip-hop albums he does. That is J. Cole with 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Another one of those surprise albums that I was not even expecting to come out. Went to that same local record store that isn't open anymore. Saw it, bought it, listened to it. Haven't stopped listening to it since. Fantastic. At first I thought it was called 2014 Forest Hills Drive because it was released in 2014. Turns out that was like his childhood home's address. So many good fucking tracks on here. January 28th, Wet Dreams, 03 Adolescence, A Tale of Two Cities. Every fucking song. I'm not going to name them. Every single fucking song on here is that good. And there's a reason it's that good. And there's a reason that I have it ranked at number 2. Again, J. Cole gets a lot of flack. Some people hate him. Some people love him. I'm one of those people that love him and thinks he can do no wrong. And that's for good reason. If you want a little taste, check out Apparently off of here. He's got a lot of emotion in the first verse. And then he cuts into the second verse. And it's purely him just murdering rappers on tracks. And it's fantastic. So yeah, number 2, J. Cole, 2014. Forest Hills Drive. And I know what you're thinking. Seth, you just talked about how good those last 2 albums were. How is there a better one? Well, if you're a hip-hop fan and you know anything about 2014, there is one album that was released that was everybody's favorite album. Not just hip-hop album. Favorite album, period. Does not change for me. My favorite album of 2014. My favorite hip-hop release of 2014. So fucking impressed. I did not think this project would work. Somehow, they pulled their shit together, and they did it. Number 1 goes to Freddie, Gibbs, and Madlib with Pinata. Woo! So fucking good. I can't listen to this fucking album enough. The first time I listened to it, I was actually kind of disappointed. I'm a big fan of Madlib. He did the Mad Villain with MF Doom. He's the dude behind Quasimodo. I like Madlib. I'm a big fan of Freddie Gibbs. He did his ESGN album. He did his Straight Killa album. His fucking mixtape, I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's got the same album artwork as that really popular album by blanking. One of the chicks from Arrested Development, I think. Fantastic mixtape. I didn't know how you're going to get a dude who focuses mainly on underground hip-hop to go up with this dude who's essentially the closest thing to a trap rapper without rapping on trap beats. Somehow they do it. It turns out so good. Every song on here is perfect. I have no complaints. He's got this... Well, we'll get there. Well, I'm not going to talk about it yet. Fantastic. My favorite album of 2014, Freddie Gibbs and Madlib with Pinata. This last year, they actually released Bandana. We'll talk about that in 2019's. My least favorite album. This was actually one of the harder years to pick because there wasn't really a horrible album that I owned. I picked the one that meant the less to me and that meant the least to me and felt like it wasn't serious enough for me to truly appreciate the artistry behind it. Least favorite album of 2014 goes to Riff Raff, Neon Icon. This is a goofy fucking dude, man, but he makes some good-ass hip-hop. He doesn't take himself too seriously, and that's part of my problem, is I'm not a big fan of comedic rap like Lil Dicky, bullshit like that. That's very similar to what Riff Raff does. There's some really good joints on here. I don't want to say it's the shittiest album, because it's definitely not. There's some fantastic fucking songs on here. You got Tip, Toe, Wing in My Jawdins. Not saying it like that for any other reason. If you look, it literally is Tip, Toe, Wing in My Jawdins. Again, it's funny, it's good, it's so much fun to listen to. Wetter Than Tsunami, fantastic. Cocaine has this really rock and roll type of feel to it. It's also a very good track. it just wasn't serious enough for me to put it anywhere in my list. There was probably a total of about 25 I had from 2014. You're not going to hear the other 10 because it's too long of a video. Least favorite, Riff Raff, Neon Icon. Awards. Best verse goes to Freddie Gibbs on the song Real. Now, the reason I say that, and that's not even one of the most popular songs on this, but the reason that is my favorite verse of 2014 is because if you listen to it, it is a straight headshot at Young Jeezy. The first time I listened to it, I didn't even understand. I missed it. Went right over my head. I heard it the second time, understood it a little bit more. The more I listen to it, the more it's brutal the way he goes after Young Jeezy. He does not leave him alone. He does not just poke. He attacks him. It is a fantastic verse. Best verse of 2014, Freddie Gibbs on Real. Best hook of 2014 goes to the aforementioned Slaine for Bobby Be Real. That song is so catchy. It is so fucking catchy that it's impossible to ignore it. And the hook on there that Slaine sings, he's not even that good of a singer, but he fits so perfectly on this beat, and I love it. Best hook of 2014 goes to Slaine for Bobby Be Real. Best beat goes to Gang Related off of Under Pressure by Logic. You will hear the beat. You will understand why it's my favorite beat. It's got this really good vibe to it. It's almost got gunshot sounds, which fits perfectly in with the track. I love it. It's so good. Gang Related, Logic, best beat of 2014. Best song. I've been going back and forth. I can tell you my favorite song from 2014 is going to come off of 2014 Forest Hills Drive. My issue is I'm stuck between one of the most honest songs I've ever heard and one of the best shit talk songs I've ever heard. Those two songs are Wet Dreams and GOMD, aka Get Off My Dick. Right now, I'm going to make the decision and say Wet Dreams is my favorite song of 2014. This fantastic song about adolescents dealing with their sexuality and yet trying to stay masculine and not demasculine themselves in front of all their friends. So essentially, J. Cole talks to this girl. He's like, yeah, I've had sex before. No big deal, baby. Like, it's going to be awesome. I got you. But inside of his head, he's like, fuck. I'm a virgin. I've never done this before. It has a lot of meaning. You can really feel him when he's talking about it. It is such a good song. Best song of 2014, Wet Dreams, J. Cole. My favorite artwork of 2014 goes to the Underachievers for Cellar Door. As you can see, it is a very intricate, very specific album. I like the fact that he has indigo written across his hat up there. You got 47, which is a shout out to Pro Era, as they are the 47 members. Yeah, fantastic artwork. And my favorite feature, as I also already mentioned, probably my favorite feature of the decade goes to Ab-Soul for Dat Sound Good off of PrHyme's album. So good. Everybody that asks me, oh, what's your favorite feature this year? What's your favorite feature this year? Is Ab-Soul. Ab-Soul is one of those dudes that steps onto a track as a featured artist. You know you're about to get gold. And he comes through again. That is my list. As always, I have 5 albums that I wish I owned, but I do not, but I would like to own eventually. Those albums are Verbal Kent, Sound of the Weapon. Verbal Kent's this really good underground MC. I think he signed to Mellow Music Group. He was on that Ugly Ear Heroes album. He just recently started a new project. He's fantastic. Bass. I think it's Bass. Dreamville artist. Last Winter. Apathy, Connecticut Casual, which is supposed to be one of the greatest underground hip-hop releases in history. Very excited to get my hands on that. Arm & Hammer, Furtive... I can't read my handwriting. Furtive Movements, I believe. I apologize if that's incorrect. Arm & Hammer is a fantastic hip-hop duo consisting of Billy Woods and... I'm going to screw up the other dude's name, so I'm not even going to say it. I'm a big Billy Woods fan. I really want to get my hands on that. And then Joel Ortiz with House Slippers. Can't go wrong with one of the members of Slaughterhouse. They can all spit. So that's my video. I hope you guys liked it. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. But tell me in the comments why you didn't like it. Don't just tell me it sucked. Don't tell me my recording quality's bad. I fucking know this. Okay? I'm not fixing it. This is how these videos are going to get released for a while unless I get a bigger viewership. Put your list in the comments. Tell me what your top 14 of 2004. Tell me what your top 5. I don't fucking care. Tell me some other albums from 2014 I need to get my hands on because I fucking love music and I want more of it. And it's impossible for one person to know every single album released every year unless you're Anthony Fantano. Shout out Needle Drop. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. I will be back next time with the top 15 of 2015. Hope to see you guys then. Thanks.